Hi everyone, my name is Lance Shoulders. Welcome to our next round of Bridge House Interactive, where we bring Bridge House's work, team member, and clients to the screen through video and voice. In this series, we'll be speaking with several members of the leadership team. Happy to have Bridge House's Chief Growth Officer, Jeff Gibbons, here with us today. Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you, Lance. Good to be here, sir.
Really great having you here. And I tell you, I never thought you and I would be sitting here together doing an interview in front of a fireplace. Maybe a sports talk radio show?
Possibly.
So we'll see. We might get there in the end. Who knows? Okay, Chief Growth Officer. Tell me a little bit about that role at Bridge House.
Happy to, Lance. So prior to officially joining Bridge House, I was working on the go-to-market strategy for the business, what we were going to do, what we were not going to do.
Sure.
But really, as a startup, wanted to keep the focus and the discipline as we tried to get the company off the ground. And so out of the chute, it was direct brute force marketing.
Right.
So we pounded the pavement. We met lots of clients that we've served in the past that trusted us, told them our story, and asked them to take a chance on Bridge House. So while the title is new, really the role has not changed. It's really about the focus on top line growth.
Got it.
Right? And for us as a private business, it's organic growth right now is the focus. And that includes a number of marketing tactics to build awareness of our brand. It's proactive management of our best client accounts.
Yep.
And it's also getting our junior staff exposed to clients early so that selling isn't such a mysterious thing as they progress with their careers.
Awesome.
I think one of the things that we did really well at Bridge House in the early days was we envisioned a set of services that our clients would need across the entire investment life cycle.
Yeah.
We then went about finding the talent to basically come in, help us build out those offerings. So we have, again, a fair amount of senior talent in the business, but I think that vision of services across the life cycle really helped us differentiate the new guy, i.e. Bridge House Advisors, in an already pretty mature market.
Wow. That's really awesome, Jeff. I really like the comment about the demystifying selling, especially to more younger professionals coming into Bridge House. And, you know, certainly sounds like there's some growth paths there. We've got room to go, but we'll get there. Let's take a step back a bit. I know you really well. Others may not. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about your background and how you got to Bridge House?
Absolutely, Lance. So, as you know, I've been doing this a long time. I mean, my entire professional career has been in the consulting business model. Accenture, where you and I first met.
Sure.
I spent some time at ICF, ERM, just to name a couple of the brands. But my shift to technical environmental services happened in 1995 after graduate school.
Okay.
Go Who's. But it was at ERM where I first met our CEO, Krister. That was in 2013. We joined within a week of each other, and we were both focused on delivering services to private market investors. One evening in Washington, D.C., pounding the pavement, early days, he approached me about starting a new co.
Wow.
And so we kicked the idea around a bit. I worked on the version 1 of the business plan with Krister and others. And then Krister and our 3 co-founders, they put the shingle out in October 2017, and then he pursued me relentlessly over the next 4 to 6 months, and I joined the business in April of 2018.
Wow. So there from the beginning. That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Really great stuff there, Jeff. I actually thought you were going to make me tell it as a test, considered how well we know each other. But I appreciate you giving all that color to backdrop, especially in the early days.
My pleasure.
Moving on, what makes Bridge House special?
Great question. I would say 3 words, and I think you helped us come up with these 3 words, but technical, responsive, and commercial. And let me unpack that for you. Technical, as I mentioned earlier, we have a lot of senior talent with deep expertise in certain market sectors and different areas of content and subject matter. So honestly, it's kind of difficult, challenging to hire senior people when you're early days of a startup, but we were committed to that vision and the need for that to help us build out some of these service lines and service offerings for our clients.
Great.
Responsive, look, we've been supporting this sector, private market investors and private equity in particular, for many years. We know that when it's deal time, we have to match their intensity.
Yeah.
We have to be as responsive. There's no days in the week when it's deal time. So
Right.
we have to be responsive. We pride ourselves on being responsive to our clients. Then commercial. We understand that they're in the business of generating returns.
Right.
Right. They're in the middle of the financial services marketplace. And we need to speak their language. So we need to take our technical understanding of the issues and convert that whenever we can to dollars.
Right.
Because that's what they use to make informed investment decisions. So technical, responsive, commercial are the three words I like to use that really differentiates us. The other one, and maybe it's more than one, we've received consistent feedback from the market that we're flexible, that we're practical and fit for purpose when it comes to our advice and the recommendations that we make.
Great phrase.
And that the pricing for our services is fair.
Great.
And so that's just feedback we've gotten from our clients in the broader market. And we're proud that we've delivered that in addition to our technical services.
Wow, super. I really appreciate all the color there, especially just about the components or the pillars, and then just validating the feedback from the clients. It's probably pretty rewarding to hear that.
It's good stuff.
We've gone through. One last work question. Okay, and I'm sure we'll spend some time here. Where's ESG headed for our clients, and where's the value?
Yeah. That's an important question, Lance.
Yeah, that's why I asked.
So, look, first point is this. So despite the ESG discourse in the U.S., and it is kind of a U.S. thing, this
Right.
kind of
Yeah.
Polarization of it, it's alive and well in the private markets.
Right.
For sure. If a private market investor is seeking to access capital from Europe, responsible investing, strong ESG performance, not optional.
Right. Yeah.
You really don't have an option.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You got to be able to demonstrate it, and it's real. Now, in the U.S., despite the rhetoric, the majority of capital that's earmarked for alternatives, they understand the value associated with good ESG management.
Good.
So there's not a lot of capital at risk
Okay.
in the U.S. Again, despite the rhetoric. There's always three legs to the stool, right? So
Yeah.
first leg would be as a private market investor. ESG is about access to capital.
Right.
Where they get the capital to do their job, to generate returns. I would say next, over the past 18 to 24 months, we've seen a clear shift with our clients from establishing their firm level processes and their policies around how should I manage ESG across the investment life cycle. We've seen it dive down into engaging with the portfolio companies where the real value is created. So again, value at the firm level is access to capital, first leg of the stool. Second is value is created, at the company level. Now, not all of that movement has been real positive, I would say, in terms of the value creation agenda. The ESG function is stretched, I would say, now, spending way too much time focused on metrics and KPIs and disclosures to assorted third parties. And so that effort tends to distract from the real work of making sure that management systems are in place for the ESG considerations that, if not managed effectively, can lead to reputational or financial harm to the business. So again, that second leg of the stool is that value is created at the company level, but there are some headwinds, that need to be navigated in that. And then finally, but in order to really get traction with management teams, financial sponsors, and even limited partners, ESG speak and decision making really needs to be in the language of the investors. Right. Prioritizing on the right ESG opportunities that transform certain aspects of business operations, not necessarily all, right? And that can reduce an array of costs to the business, are going to provide incremental lift to the valuation it has. And again, incremental, I'm not saying it's going to double or triple the value of the business, but it can incrementally add to it.
Right.
Now that's more critical in a world now where valuations are not as high as they were 24 months ago, and debt is no longer free.
Sure.
Right. So I think the focus on ESG, and again, third leg of the stool, is a laser focus on the considerations that can contribute to that financial business performance. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it really, we'll spend some time going back on this, I'm sure, in newer discussions, but this aspect of doing ESG work for ESG work's sake, and then also speaking in the language of our customers, which is all about financial value.
Absolutely.
So I've certainly got those messages loud and clear.
Yeah.
Great. Well, Jeff, just fantastic stuff. Been looking forward to doing this conversation with you ever since I joined. And I do have one last question, and it's not going to be if you were to build your own Mardi Gras float, what would it be? We've asked you that question twice.
I know.
If you were hosting a dinner party and you had 3 guests showing up, dead or alive, who would they be and why?
Okay, good question.
Yeah, well,
So I would say that since I lost 2 musical heroes last year, Lance,
yeah,
Jimmy Buffett
okay.
and Shane MacGowan of the Pogues,
Oh, wow.
they're on the list.
Okay,
Right. And my 3rd guest would have to be Lyle Lovett.
okay.
And so I know you're asking, thinking why, right?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Look, I've always been drawn to musicians who have blended different genres of music,
Right.
and created something, unique that really became their brand. So,
Right.
so for Jimmy, and I'll borrow a phrase from my oldest daughter, that's beach country. He kind of created beach country, to borrow her phrase, right? And then Shane combined traditional Irish folk with punk rock.
Okay, wow.
Right, and that's a whole unique thing. And then, Lyle blends country, gospel, and some blues into his own unique sound. So I could use a bartender that night. Are you interested?
Absolutely. I think we got a couple of bottles of brown coming our way.
Yeah, we do.
All right. Sounds like a fantastic evening. I think it just further reiterates how important music is in our lives. And, it's just something that, everyone can relate to and talk. It's really the universal language.
Yeah.
And the universal language for our clients is money, right? Thank you for your time. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Lance.
All right. And that wraps up this installment of Bridge House Interactive. Stay tuned for newer episodes or check out some of our earlier ones at bridgehouseadvisors.com. Thanks again.